Hi, this is George Alger. Welcome to today's segment of Our Ventura TV. Today we're going to be speaking about microbiomes, and joining us is Dr. Joel Rauchwerger. Welcome, Dr. Rauchwerger. And let's start out with the most basic question. What is a microbiome?
Okay. George is over 50 years ago when I was on the faculty at Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas, is a medical student gave a paper, and the paper was that every adult has approximately 3 pounds of bacteria living in the colon. That was the total extent of the knowledge of the microbiome. Today, George, it's the hottest topic in medicine and psychiatry, and is a whole new field opened up, and the name tells the story, called Psychobiome. And it's a group of psychiatrists that started the field connecting the brain and the bacteria which live in the colon. And so it's called Psychobiome, and the bacteria produce all these great chemicals that are important in mental health. For example, serotonin, that I think a lot of people know, that's the feel-good chemical. GABA, that's the one to relieve anxiety and help you sleep. So in medicine and psychiatry and nutrition, it's the hottest field. But 50 years ago, when I was on the faculty at Baylor, the only thing that was known was that we have 3 pounds of bacteria that live in the colon. So it's the hottest topic now across the board, especially for mental health.
I want to make sure I'm clarifying this for myself as well as the viewers, but
Sure.
to just sort of re-encapsulate what you said
Yes.
in terms of what it is,
Yes.
would it be correct to characterize it as a type of bacteria that's in your gut?
What it is, George, that's a good question. George, what it is 50 trillion bacteria, 5,000 species, okay? And they are basically the good bacteria that when we feed them correctly, they have their own food. And when we feed them correctly with the soluble fiber, they will crank out all these good chemicals for the brain and for the body. The rock star chemicals for the brain are the two that I mentioned, serotonin and GABA, the feel-good chemical and the anti-anxiety chemical. But for the body, the rock star is called butyric acid. And butyric acid is known to heal what's called leaky gut, is the best protection against cancer of the colon, is the best fuel for the cells lining the colon, the colonocytes, and even there's new research that it might help out people with a leaky brain. So exciting stuff. These are a chemical factory that we all have. It's free of charge. All we have to do is feed it the right food, which is the type of fiber called soluble fiber. For example, George, a dark green salad of any kind, spinach, kale, and they will start cranking out these chemicals. So we have a whole pharmacy right inside our colon, and it's free of charge. All we have to know is how to use it.
Okay, good. So I mean, I find this fascinating because we're not only talking about better health, but we're actually talking about, I mean, whatever I guess better mental health means to others. I mean, certainly if you have someone who's depressed, it would be great if they're less so. But I mean, even a person who is just going about their life, could it help them have more energy, to feel a little bit more focused? Does it have that kind of effect as well?
Absolutely. As I mentioned, a real take-home, George, would be the butyric acid. That's called a short-chain fatty acid. But that is really the rock star. And with butyric acid, it's known that you could have up to 10% more energy in your body. If you feed the bacteria correctly, the microbiome, they will crank out 10% more energy in the way of butyric acid. So not only, let's say, for yourself, but for athletes, this is a whole new sunrise kind of field and industry, having a lot more energy produced by the bacteria. So you got this workhorse, this chemical factory, pennies a day, and it will crank out all these good chemicals. So it's really an exciting new field, and it's in all the medical journals, all the nutritional journals. And as I mentioned, George, a whole new field of psychiatry opened up, cranking out these chemicals specifically to benefit the brain.
Good. Now, to get it naturally, then you would just, if I understood you correctly, you just have to eat more leafy green vegetables. Is that correct?
Well, yes, that would be the heart of the heart of the heart. See, there's two types of fiber. Fiber is a general term. There's fiber which is insoluble in water, okay? And that's the hard vegetables like broccoli and celery, things like that. They are good to keep things moving so you don't get constipated. But what we're talking about is the soluble fiber. That's the fiber which dissolves in water. And that is all fruit, and they give it a special name called pectin. And then especially your leafy greens, any type of green, chard and kale and spinach, that's the soluble fiber. And that's what the bacteria really love. And then they will crank out the total spectrum of all those good chemicals for the brain, like serotonin and GABA, and the short-chain fatty acids. But really the best one is that butyric acid. So for people who have leaky gut, and a lot of seniors do, okay, this is the best prevention and the best cure. So when you take the butyric acid, you're really helping out your whole digestive system.
Very good. Now, for someone who wanted to, actually take it as a supplement, is it available under that name, butyric acid, as a supplement, or does it have some other name?
Well, the best way to do it is really naturally. So let's be real simple. Let's say yourself, George, you have, let's just say, a hamburger and some French fries and a nice little green salad. The hamburger and French fries all goes to George, to you. But what you cannot digest, the soluble fiber, especially for the dark greens, that's the food for your helpers, which are the bacteria. So the food which you cannot digest is their food. It's the greatest marriage in medical history. It's the greatest symbiosis, the greatest win-win situation.
Wow, very good. Now, you have emphasized older folks, but I guess this would be good for anyone of any age, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, across the board, across the board. So is again, it's like I mentioned, over 50 years ago, I could still visualize in my mind's eye is the young medical student, Barbara Rupert at Baylor College of Medicine, and she pulled the article, and the only datum that was known was that adults have, on average, 3 pounds of bacteria, okay, living in our gut. That was the total extent. And the author speculated that maybe, perhaps, these bacteria have some beneficial function. And now, again, like I mentioned before, George, it's the hottest topic across the board in nutrition, in medicine, and now even psychiatry.
Well, that is a great note to end on. This is George Alger signing off on this segment of Our Ventura TV. Until we meet again.